This conference will now be recorded.
And now just confirm if you are able to see my screen also. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's get started. So welcome all to this particular session. I will quickly tell you about the background, what exactly is this course all about, why we plan to come up with this particular course. Okay, and we will take some time to explain some of the important topics, and then we will give you enough time if you have any questions related to the topics that we are discussing today, or maybe if you have any doubts related to the career in SAP and all, then definitely we will give you enough time to ask those questions. Okay, so before I start, let me give the introduction of those of you who are joining, who are listening to me for the first time. Let me give you my introduction. So, my name is Vikram, and I have around 15 years of SAP experience. Over these 15 years, I have worked with very like different industries, different companies. Okay, even in terms of the roles that I have played, I started with the as a junior associate consultant. Then slowly I progressed towards the project manager, and now from last 4 5 years, I am running my own company where we are taking care of the SAP implementation projects. And apart from that, also we are into this kind of trainings where we provide the trainings to the beginners, to the experienced consultants, to the corporates. Okay, so for example, we have done a lot of trainings in the corporates like Accenture, Capgemini, Atos. Okay, so these are some of the names where we have done the corporate trainings also. And apart from the basic beginner courses, we also conduct the advanced courses like FSCM, controlling, central finance, RAR, right? These are some of the areas where we got the experience. This was about me, and with me today, we also have another instructor who is also a very senior person in logistics area, Mr. Singh. So he will be also part of the instructor for this particular course that we have designed, and he will be also talking about some of the topics in these 4 days, and we'll make sure that at least the basic idea, if you are completely beginners, this course is specially designed for complete beginners. So if you have some experience, it is just like a refresher to you. But if you are total beginners, you will definitely enjoy. You will understand there are different terminologies in SAP which you may need to understand before you start your career in SAP. So that point of view, if you are joining this course, you will be definitely benefited, and you will be able to understand what SAP S/4HANA actually is, how the career in SAP S/4HANA is, what are the different modules, which modules are good for you if you are planning to start your career as SAP. And even we will not only talk about the positives. See, uh, when uh, when we think about a particular domain or a particular career, if you only think about the positive things, then definitely you will be disappointed when you actually start working on the as a SAP consultant, and then you realize that there are some things which were not explained to you, and that is the reason you might not be as happy as you thought after starting the career in SAP. So we will be talking about both the areas. We'll be talking about what are the benefits of being the SAP consultant, and what are the drawbacks which you should consider when you are thinking of becoming the SAP consultant. Okay, so that is, I think, the good background to start with. And let me talk about a short introduction to this particular course. So as I told you, this is the basic course on SAP S/4HANA. We are not going to go into detail of any particular module. Okay, we are only going to talk about the basics of SAP S/4HANA, how SAP S/4HANA works, what are the different modules in SAP. There will be two sessions on Wednesday and Thursday, where we'll be focusing on two important modules in SAP. Okay, so Wednesday we are trying to focus on finance. Within finance, what are the different areas? If you are coming from the accounting background, how similarities you will find in SAP? What are the different business processes in finance within SAP? How they work? What is Fiori and all? And then on Thursday, we'll be focusing more on the logistics area. Okay, so we'll be talking about the different modules under the logistics, like what SAP MM has to offer, what SAP SD has to offer, and these modules are good for which background. Like if you're coming from the engineering background or you're coming from the accounting background, which are the different courses or which are the different modules in SAP and which ones are the suited for you. Okay, so when I'm speaking about a particular topic, because there are a lot of guys who are attending the session, I will not be allowing, or it would be very difficult for me to allow each and every question during my talk. So please make sure that if you have any topic now itself, just write it on the chat screen. Okay, so that once I am done with my explanation, I will go through the chats. I will try to reply on the chats. And obviously, if you still have any questions, I can allow you to unmute and you can go ahead with the question and get it clarified. Okay, so that is the whole idea. Please don't hesitate. If you have any doubts, any questions, definitely we would be happy to assist you in all those questions. Okay, so let's get started now. Let me go to the next slide. So let's start with what exactly is SAP. Okay, before I start, because I am presenting, I will not be able to see your chats. If I allow it unnecessarily, all of you will get disturbed. So if you are facing any issues, if anyone is facing any issues, I think some of my team members are also on the call, maybe Biswajit or others for you. If you feel there is any problem in the voice or you are not able to see my screen, please uh, send me the WhatsApp message so that I can immediately take care of it. Okay, so now what exactly is SAP? Okay, as I told you, I am treating audience as those are completely beginners, and that is the reason I'm starting from scratch, right? So if some of you already know SAP, just think it is a revision, uh, but someone who is completely new, they should be able to understand all these terminologies in detail. So what exactly is SAP? SAP is an ERP, right? Now, what exactly is ERP? ERP means Enterprise Resource Planning. Okay, this is a terminology in simple words. I will not go to the actual definition. Even I don't know what is the actual definition of ERP. But in simple terms, if I want to understand what ERP is, it is one kind of a software only. Only the difference between the normal software and ERP is normally a software is to take care of a specific business process of the organization. For example, if you are running a company, if you are working in a company, there may be a different software for payroll, which is only taking care of payroll. There can be another software which is only used for accounting, for example, Tally. There can be any other software which is only used for inventory management. Another software which is only taking care of the sales and marketing. Okay, so these are different softwares. Okay, they are taking care of a particular requirement of the company. So if you are working in a big company and if you have, let's say, 15-20 different softwares to take care of different areas of the organization or different departments of the organization, it is going to be very difficult for the organization to communicate or to share the data between the different departments, right? And that is where ERP comes into the picture. ERP means a single big software which has all the different functionalities which can take care of the different departments of your organization. So a single software which can help you in payroll, same software which can help you in accounting, same software which will help you in purchasing, selling, manufacturing, plant maintenance, and that is the reason you might have heard there are different modules in SAP. So why there are different modules in SAP? Because there are different departments in the organization. And in order to take care of a particular department, SAP came up with the different modules. So for example, SAP MM module takes care of inventory management and purchasing of the organization. SAP sales and distribution module takes care of all the sales related activities, delivery related activities, billing related activities within the SAP system. SAP finance module takes care of all the accounting. takes care of the general ledger accounting, accounts payables, accounts receivables, asset accounting. So all those things are taken care within the SAP financial module. So like this, SAP is an ERP which supports multiple different departments of the organization using a single software. Now the question is SAP only ERP or there are other ERP vendors also in the market? Definitely, SAP is not the only ERP. There are many other ERP vendors in the market. You might have heard about Oracle apps. You might have heard about Microsoft Dynamics. You might have heard about many different softwares which are used from years. PeopleSoft, right? So, but the thing is, if you go and search on Google and you try to find out which is the top ERP as of today in the market, okay, which is having the largest number of shares and which is being used by most of the bigger companies in all the industries, you will find the answer is SAP. Okay, so SAP has made the market in such a way that it is the top most ERP available in the market as of today. So any big company you take in most of the industries, you talk about any industry and talk about the biggest companies in that particular industry, you will find SAP is being used over there, okay, to take care of different business processes of the organization. Okay, so SAP is an ERP and ERP is nothing but a small or sorry, it's a big software which allows the management of different departments of the organization. Okay, and that is the reason normally within ERP we have different modules to take care of different departments. What is the full form of SAP? We already understood what is the full form of ERP. It's Enterprise Resource Planning. SAP stands for Systems, Applications and Products in Data Processing. Right? This was actually the German conversion of German term, but in English we normally call systems, applications, and products in data processing. Actual full form of SAP, as I told you, it is in the German language because SAP was developed in or founded in Germany. Okay, you can see this. So it was founded in 1972. In 2022 itself, last year itself, you might have heard a lot about celebration of 50 years of SAP, right? So it has already completed 50 years in the business, and as of today, if from specifically from last 5-7 years when SAP S4 HANA was introduced, the market share of SAP has been booming a lot, right? As I told you, it is a business software package which is designed to integrate all the areas of the business. So it allows you to integrate. Integrate means making sure that everything is available at the same place and the departments can very easily communicate with each other. Okay, so all the different areas means all the different departments of the organization. Okay, and it is designed for all types of businesses. You talk about the retail, you talk about the manufacturing, you talk about the telecommunication. Okay, you talk about chemicals, you talk about any industry. Okay, you will find that most of the customers in that particular industry are using SAP. Okay, so that is about SAP. Now I hope everybody is clear about SAP. If you have any doubt, keep on posting the questions on the chat screen so that those are taken at the end of the session. Okay, we will divide the session into two parts. So first part I'll be taking and second part Mr. Singh will be taking. So what we will do is after the first part is over, we will go with the round of questions answers and then we'll start the part 2. Okay, let's go to the next slide. So why now question is we understood SAP has the largest market in the industry. What are the reasons why SAP is so popular? Okay, so some of the benefits, although this slide is very old, but the main foundation of SAP came up with this particular points what are written here. Okay, so number one, as we discussed, it is integrated, which means various different organizations, various different departments of the organizations, they are all integrated, they can communicate very well with each other. It follows the best business practices. Now this is most important thing. See, SAP is already more than 50 years old company. The SAP software is being used by many different companies in the industry. And that is the reason throughout this experience, SAP already knows what are the typical requirements of different industries. Okay, manufacturing industry and retail industry, these are two separate industries. They will be having the specific requirements, right? Similarly, if I go for any other telecommunication industry, they will be having a complete set of requirements which are different than manufacturing. So SAP knows that what are the best business practices which are being followed in different industries. And that is exactly what SAP does in their software. They customize the software which helps in different industries. Okay, so that is the reason it is not like SAP is only good for one particular industry. SAP is good for all the industries because SAP already knows that what are the different requirements of different industries, and those are taken care in the base business practices. Now, what do you mean by base business practices? If SAP already knows that this industry will have requirement number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then another industry will have again 1, 2, 3 are common, but 4 and 5 is not applicable to them, 6 and 7 is applicable to them. So when a new customer is implementing SAP, depending upon from which industry it is coming, SAP has lot of recommendations. They don't need to start and they don't need to search, oh, which features are related to us. They don't need to spend too much of time in understanding how the SAP will serve our purpose. SAP has already created the base business practices which we normally use when we are implementing SAP for the customers. So depending on what is the industry of the customer, what are the requirements of the customer, we propose them to use the best practices with which the implementation time can come down. Right. So if I'm a customer, if I want to implement SAP, and if someone tells me, oh, if you want to implement SAP, it is a very big software, it will take next 2-3 years to implement. I may not like that. So I'll ask you, okay, what are the better options? So if I say you, okay, if I follow the best practices, because there are a lot of new things which SAP already knows what are related to your industry. If I follow that, I can reduce the time by 50 to 60%. Then definitely customer would be more interested, right? So that is exactly what we do. We follow the best business practices for the customers to make the implementation time lesser. Now, obviously, I'm not saying that each and every customer will take 1 year or 2 year or 3 year of time to implement. Depending upon the size of the business, depending upon which modules company is implementing, depending upon how many employees are going to use SAP, all these factors are very important when it comes to deciding the timeline of the project. Okay, so SAP can be implemented in as short as maybe 6 months of time to I have worked on the projects where it takes more than 3 to 4 years also to implement, right? So that totally depends upon the size of the business, the modules that you are implementing, and how active the business users are. Okay, so those are all the different factors which decide. But if you follow the best business practices, you can reduce the timeline by 50 to 60% or even more than that. It is enterprise wide. We already understood it is not only restricted to the particular department, but it is enterprise wide. Most importantly, when we are talking about the bigger companies, okay, we are not talking about the companies which are present only in one country. Okay, for example, let's take an example of Amazon or Apple. So they have the business in almost all the countries in the world, right? So if they are doing the business in US, they will follow USD as a currency. If they are doing the business in Singapore, they will follow Singapore dollar as a currency. Similarly, if the business is in UAE, they will follow AED currency, right? So customers, they are looking for the system which allows them the local to take care of the local requirements of that particular country, local compliance, right? So again, we customers are not ready to use different software for different countries. They want one single software which can be implemented in all their branches all over the world. And even though they are following different currencies, at the end of the day, they want to see all their financial reports in the group currency. Okay, they want to see, for example, if Apple is having the headquarters in US, even though they are doing the business in India, they are doing the business in UAE, At the end of the day, they want to see the total sales done or total profitability done in USD itself. So that is something which is very much possible in SAP, and that is the reason many companies are using it to get the to solve the requirement of the local purpose also and the global purpose also at the group level. Okay, same way, multi languages, right? Again, if I am in US, I would like to do the transactions in English. If I'm in Germany, I want to do the transactions in German. If I am in some other country, I want to do the transactions in the language which is supported in that particular country. So SAP software allows you to use as per your own language. So when you log in into the SAP system, it will ask you in which language you want to log in, so that it is very user friendly for you, so that you are able to understand what it is talking about, right? So that is again one of the another benefit of SAP. And then the secure information. So think about this. When we are saying we are using a single software which is being shared by payroll, which is being shared by accounting, which is being shared by sales, purchase. Now, if I am from the purchasing team and if I want to know the payroll information, I want to see my manager's salary. This is very risky, right? It is very confidential information, right? If I am from one department and I want to see what is the contract I have created with the customer, which I should not be able to see that. So even though the data is getting stored in one single database, still user wise, we can restrict which user will be able to see what, right? Which user will be able to do what, which user will be able to see what. Okay, those things can be handled via the authority via the security. Okay, this security, again, just for your information, there is another module in SAP which takes care of this security. Okay, in which module we tell the system that which user will be able to see what, which user will be able to post what, right? So there is a module in SAP security or GRC, which takes care of this particular requirement. Now, apart from this, one more additional point, there will be a lot of additional points, but what I recollect now is local compliance, as I told you, not only from the currency point of view, but from the tax point of view. You know, each country has their own requirement from the taxation point of view. Okay, we follow GST in one country, we follow VAT in another country, we follow withholding tax in the third country, right? There is jurisdiction code applicable in US, which is not applicable in other countries. The good thing is, if SAP only gives you the normal solution or a generic solution, and it doesn't take care of the local compliance in terms of the taxation and all, then definitely it would be very difficult for the business to perform those taxation related uh, processes, to do the reporting on that particular taxation related processes. Good thing is SAP is very strong in that. As soon as the new law comes in any country, SAP is very fast to provide the solution as per that law. For example, you might have heard about IFRS 15. If you are coming from accounting background, these terminologies would be very familiar to you. IFRS 15, which is recognizing the revenue as per the contract. You might have heard about IFRS 16, which is into lease management and asset management. Okay, you might have heard about a lot of things like when it comes from the financial point of view. So SAP is very fast to take care of those requirements, and they immediately provide you the solution. That is the reason you don't need to go out to find the solution on that particular compliances. Okay, that is one of the most important benefit for the customers who are implementing SAP. Okay, so this is the reason why there is so hike SAP everywhere. This is the reason because over the years, SAP has provided the solutions which are taking care of the local requirements, which are taking care of the group reporting requirements, which are taking care of the best business practices, which are providing you the solution which is suffering the entire enterprise of your organization, and it is allowing you the secure information so that even if it is being shared by thousands of employees, still the employee is only able to see what he is supposed to see, right? So that is the reason why everywhere people are talking about SAP, and whenever it comes to ERP implementation, SAP is the first choice for the customers. Okay, let me proceed to the next one. Now, as I told you, today we are just giving you the overview. I'm just going to talk about what are the different modules in SAP and where exactly these modules are used, which departments of the organization will be using these modules. But in session 3 and session 4, we'll be discussing in detail from the logistics point of view and from the finance point of view, how the different business process of the organizations can utilize the SAP software. Okay, and what are the different modules when it comes to finance, and what are the different modules when it comes to logistics. Okay, so here you can see within SAP S/4HANA system, you can see these are the different modules. Financial accounting, which takes care of accounting department of the organization, which comes to general ledger accounting, accounts payables, accounts receivables, and your asset accounts, bank account, everything is taken care here. Then you have controlling module. Controlling module takes care of management accounting. Management accounting means internal controls for finance. Okay, so for example, if you want to know the profitability of a particular product or a profitability of a particular branch, okay, or you want to know what is the cost incurred by the particular department of the organization, how much salary was paid to the IT department of the organization, how much salary was paid by the admin department of the organization, how much travel expenses were incurred by the HR department of the organization. So this way, this is internal reporting. It has nothing to be done with the external authorities. We don't need to submit this data to the Income Tax Act and all that, how much my department has incurred. This is something which is internal to me. So that comes under controlling. Okay, we will discuss this too in detail on Wednesday session. Asset accounting, as I told you, normally it comes under financial accounting, but again, there is a separate module of SAP for advanced asset accounting. Okay, then you have project systems. This is mainly for those companies who take different projects. Okay, so for example, if I'm an IT company, I took a project to implement SAP for one customer. Now, for that project, I will incur some expenses. So I will incur those expenses on the project. I will get some revenue for that particular project. I'll be able to track what is the status of a particular activity of the project planning, execution, everything can be done under the project system module of SAP. Okay, workflow means if you want to set up a workflow of approvals, that for example, if my user, okay, let's say in the purchasing department, one person will create a purchase order. Now this purchase order will go to the manager to review. Okay, and only if the manager approves it, it will go to the senior manager for the approval. So multi-level of approvals if it is required. Who will approve first, who will approve second? This is something which can be set up in the workflow, okay, which is a technical module in SAP. And then there are a lot of, maybe I'll come to this later on. Let me talk about this. Sales and distribution. Okay, as I told you, to take care of the sales department of the organization, right from the inquiry to quotation to getting the order from the customer to perform the delivery to do the billing. Okay, to get, maybe the payment part is normally handled in FI, but those are the things which are taken care by sales and distribution module. Then you have materials management module for purchasing and inventory management. So whatever you are purchasing, whatever the stock you are maintaining, that is controlled in the materials management module. Okay, then you have production planning. This is mainly for those companies who are into manufacturing, right? So in order to manufacture the product, you need the raw materials, you need the activities to be performed. Okay, those things are conducted under the production planning. Quality management, to make sure that the products that you are manufacturing or you are purchasing are of good quality. Even when you are selling, you want to perform the quality checks, that comes under quality management. Plant maintenance, so if you have a plant with different machines, you want to make sure that all the machines are working fine, there are no downtime. If there is any machine is down, you want to make sure that it is rectified or it is ready to be used as soon as possible. Those things are conducted under plant maintenance, even the regular maintenance activities. And then HR, to talk about the attendance of the employees, the payroll, okay, to perform the appraisals. Everything can be handled in HR module. And last one, as I told you, is industry solution. So as I told you, SAP already knows what are the specific industry requirements of different industries. So in addition to these common modules, these modules can be used by any organization, but specific industries, for example, retail industry, for example, automotive industry, for example, utility industry, SAP has provided the solutions on those industry specific solutions also, right? So these are just few examples of modules. We are not saying these are the only modules. There are, if you count, you will find there are maybe more than 80 to 100 or even more than that modules. Even we never get a chance to count all those things, right? So these are just the core modules in SAP, which are used by most of the organizations. But again, depending upon what are the business requirements, there can be n number of other modules which are possible in SAP. And these modules that I explained you, these are also only from the functional point of view. Okay, so apart from this, there are a lot of things that we do from the technical side. From, for example, we have ABAP consultants, we have basis consultants, we have Fiori consultants, we have HANA consultants, right? So there is lot of potential when it comes to SAP. Okay, there are a lot of modules, there are a lot of activities to be done, and that is the reason there is always a demand of, please listen it carefully, good SAP consultants. SAP consultant is a very terminology which is being used nowadays. Okay, so someone who is taking the course from a small institute, if he is getting certified, he feels that, oh, I should get a job of my institute has told me that once I am certified, I will get a job of at least 6 lakh per annum. I'm talking about Indian rupees, right? That is not the case. That is the reason there are many SAP consultants. Again, whether I should say them consultants or not, that is also the question mark. But there are many students who have gone through SAP courses, not in detail, just the high level. They got the dumps, they passed the exam, and they feel now they are ready to join as SAP consultants. That is definitely not the case. And believe me, 90% of the students who are taking the training, they are just taking the training from the namesake. Okay, they are just, if maybe out of that how many are doing certification, but even certification is not going to, it is not like if you are certified you are done. Okay, certification is just one benefit. It is not the end, right? So please listen to this carefully. There is always a demand for a proper SAP consultants who have done the course properly, who have done the certification properly, okay, and who is very, very serious to start his career in SAP. Okay, that is something which is very important. Now let me go to the next slide. So talking about SAP S4 HANA, what we understood till now is SAP and what are the different modules in SAP. So as I told you, it has been 50 years since SAP launched this product. Okay, so the different products were launched in different years. Okay, so the first product, or even before this R2, there was another small product, maybe someone call it as R1 or something different, but there were some products earlier also, but these were the major products in SAP journey. Okay, so they came up with SAP R2 in 1979. In 1992, they came up with SAP R3. In 2004, they introduced ERP, and finally, in 2015, they came up with SAP S4 HANA. All right, so today, which is a product which is being used in the industry, there are some customers who are still using R3. There are some customers who are still on ERP, and there are some customers who are already on SAP S4 HANA. So if I'm a new customer, okay, if I'm a new customer means I was not using SAP till now. I was using maybe some other softwares till now. And now I decided that yes, I want to go for SAP ERP. Definitely, why should I go for R3? R3 is definitely not even being sold by SAP. So today, if you want to go for SAP implementation, obviously you will go for SAP S4HANA, right? These products are not being sold by SAP now. But those customers who are already using it, as I told you, There are many customers who are using R3. There are many customers who are using ERP. So there is a potential opportunity for you when you join SAP as a consultant. You may find the projects where the customer is moving from R3 to SAP S/4HANA, where the customer is moving from ERP to SAP S/4HANA. Okay, I'm not talking about what is the way. I'm not saying a direct conversion is possible from R3 to S/4HANA, whatever way. But customer wants to discard this and they want to go for SAP S/4HANA. These kind of projects are also uh, going on in the market. Okay, it is not only the new implementation project, but there are a lot of other projects where customers are converting from old ERP systems, old SAP ERP systems, either R3 or ECC. This is also called as ECC, by the way. So just remember, ERP is equal to ECC. Okay, so now when some of you who are completely new to this, when you are going to join, what are you going to work? What are the projects that you are going to work? Number one, you may find that you are directly getting the project where customer wants to implement a new SAP S/4HANA system. You may find that you are working on the project where customer is converting from the old either R3 or ERP to SAP S/4HANA. Okay, this is called as system conversion project. ERP to S/4HANA is called as system conversion project. Or you may find that you are going to work on the project where SAP S/4HANA or SAP ECC is already implemented. You are going to provide the ongoing support to the customer. Okay, so you can work on the implementation, you can work on the support, or you can work on the further developments which are being done on these projects. Okay, so that is also we will cover in one of the slide. What are the different type of projects in SAP? And if you are completely new to SAP, you should know that if you are really interested to work as a SAP consultant, what would be your day in life as a SAP consultant. Okay, so that is also something which we will cover during this 4-day session. Sorry. Okay, so now let's come to understand what exactly is SAP S/4HANA and how SAP S/4HANA is different than SAP ECC. So we all know this has become the old product now, and this is a new product. So what this new product has to offer compared to the SAP ECC product? First of all, what exactly is a full form of S/4HANA? It is SAP Business Suite for SAP HANA, which means it is a SAP's new product which is designed for SAP HANA. What is SAP HANA now? What is SAP HANA and S/4HANA two different terms? Exactly, they are definitely two different terms. SAP HANA is a database and SAP S/4HANA is an application. Okay, now if you are finding it difficult, let me put it in this way. You use any software. Okay, let's say you are using your mobile device nowadays. In your mobile device, you have different applications. Okay, let's say you have banking application. Okay, you have the bank related app in your mobile device. Now, if you want to do the transaction, if you want to do the transfer of amount from your account to some other account, that you are doing from the application. But immediately, as soon as you post it, as soon as you confirm it, it will not only impact in your mobile device, it will immediately impact the database of whichever bank we are talking about, right? So if you are doing the transaction from ICICI Bank or HSBC Bank or Bank of America, okay, so what will happen is immediately as soon as you confirm the transaction on your mobile device, it will affect the database of that particular bank, right? So there is a difference between the database and the application. So SAP S/4HANA is an application which allows you to do the transactions, which allows you to do the business transactions like creating the purchase order, creating the sales order, doing the deliveries, doing the invoicing, getting the payment from the customer, making the payments to the suppliers, creating the production orders, right? Making the payroll, making the salary payments from the SAP system to the employees. These are all transactions. But as soon as you do the transaction, the data gets stored in the database. So SAP S/4HANA is an application which allows you to do the transactions, and as soon as the transaction is posted, it will go and reside in SAP HANA database. Okay, now what is new in S/4HANA? S/4HANA supports only SAP HANA database. If I talk about SAP ECC, okay, when we were using this SAP ECC system, SAP was not having their own database. SAP was dependent on third-party databases. So if a customer is using SAP ECC, it is high chance that they are using the databases of the third party. So if you see, many of SAP customers are using Oracle database, they are using Microsoft database, they are using DB2, there are a number of databases which are supported. But when it comes to SAP S/4HANA, the name itself says it is a product which is only working on SAP HANA database. Okay, this is going to work on only HANA database. Now, why HANA? Is HANA better than the traditional databases? Definitely yes. Okay, so if you want to go for it, you can just search why HANA is faster. See, database, how you will decide which database is good or bad. Database is to store the data and collect the data when it is required. Okay, so remember, let's say you are using a mobile app again for banking and you want to see your balance. You clicked on display balance and it is taking 60 minutes or 30 minutes to show you the balance. And another mobile device, again, if you go and say, okay, show me the balance, and it is being shown in 1 second. So how will you decide which database is faster, which database is good? The database which is faster is always good, right? So SAP HANA, it is using the latest technology available in the database management. And that is the reason SAP is saying, again, when you will work, you will realize whether it is really faster or not. But SAP is saying it is 1,000 times faster or even 10,000 times faster than the old databases. And that is the reason it is one of the benefit of for those customers who are using SAP ECC. The first thing that they will realize is the speed, and speed cannot be realized in small things like you create a purchase order whether there is a speed or not. Speed can be realized in the processes which used to take maybe 2 hours of time in SAP ECC. Okay, I'm just giving the example. If you're not able to understand, completely fine. There is a MRP process in SAP ECC which can take, depending upon the business, depending upon how much data, it used to take around 6 to 7 hours per day. And that is the reason that activity was normally taken care during the nights. They were scheduling during the nights, right? With SAP HANA in place, with the concept of SAP HANA, now it can take in minutes. Okay, so you can realize the benefit only when you are doing the task which is actually using the capability of that database, right? So first point, if someone asks why SAP S/4HANA, number one is because it is using HANA database, which is much faster compared to the traditional databases. Why it is faster? Because it is using the technology, which is the latest technology in the market, and that is the reason by making the use of that technology, SAP has made it faster. Okay, so same thing, it is fully built on in-memory platform SAP HANA. What are the other benefits? One is fine. We understood one benefit is going to the database is HANA because it is faster. What are the other benefits? Benefit number two is it uses the modern and simplified user experience. Okay, again, I'll give you the example. So if you want to book the ticket, okay, or you want to do the banking. So previously, we used to do the banking through the websites, right? We go to the website, we try to do the transaction. We need to be in front of the computer because normally websites are not much comfortable on your mobile devices, right? So that was something which was past. Nowadays, how many of us really go to the website and do the bank transactions or any other transactions? Hardly 20-30%. Even sometimes we also do, but that is only when we don't have mobile in front of us or we are facing some issues. What we normally do now, everybody is used to the apps, right? We It is very user friendly when we do the same transaction on mobile apps. Same thing SAP has introduced in SAP also, SAP application also. So previously, if I want to do any transaction, I need to be in front of the computer or laptop. I cannot do the transaction from mobile device, the SAP business transactions. Now, with this modern and simplified user experience called as SAP Fiori, you can do the transactions from your mobile devices, from your tabs, and the look and feel would be very, very convenient compared to what was the screen being used earlier. Okay, and most importantly, uh, the time, because if it is available on mobile device and all, for example, you want to do some approvals, if you are a senior manager in the company and someone is waiting for your approval and you are not in front of the computers and laptops, those things can be reduced. Even another important thing is training. So previously, if you want to give the training in SAP, it used to take a lot of time. But now, because the screens are made simple, looking at the screen itself, most of the time we know what to enter. Okay, so because the number of fields are reduced, it is on the mobile device. So the training part, end user part has become a lot simple. Okay, that is point number 2. Point number 3 is for the customers, they have the deployment options. Okay, which means they can go for on-premise or they can go for cloud, or they can use the concept of both. They can combine on-premise and cloud solutions to go in the hybrid approach. Let me explain this. So on-premise means if you want to use SAP, previously it was the only option. If you want to use SAP, buy the hardware, buy the software license. Now software buying is fine, but hardware was costly. Okay, and it used to take a lot of time for installation and all. Right. Now with SAP S/4HANA, SAP is giving the option of cloud, which means you don't need to worry about the hardware. Just pay us the licensing fees, subscription fees, and SAP will arrange the hardware part also for you. From the software point of view also, earlier we used to take the software from SAP, and we, as I told you, without best practices, we used to implement SAP, which used to take some years to implement for the bigger companies. Okay, but now what SAP has done is they came up with the cloud option. One benefit is definitely hardware, but other benefits is on this cloud, SAP has allowed only best practices, which means the companies who wants to implement the best practices, they don't need to invest a lot of time and money to do the implementation. I'm not saying it is not required. It is definitely required, but comparatively, there is less effort to implement because you are only implementing the best practices, right? So the time which is it takes to implement SAP, that would be reduced a lot. Apart from that, when it comes to innovation, okay, innovation means every day something is new. Some new requirements are coming. You know how the things are changing today. Okay, so with SAP S/4HANA Cloud, SAP is bringing the innovation very rapidly. Okay, every 3 months, 6 months, you will come to know there is some new functionality SAP has introduced, which may be relevant for the customers if they want to use, right? So from the innovation point of view, cloud is having benefit. Okay, and one more last important thing, because it is not only about SAP, it is about the overall world, what is happening currently in the software industry. Future is cloud, right? And that is the reason SAP is investing a lot on cloud. So customers are getting innovation, customers are saving the time in implementing their SAP solutions, and they don't need to worry about hardware, the maintenance, the up and down of the server, everything will be taken care by the SAP. Okay, if it is on premise, you need to buy the hardware, you need to have your own team to take care of it. You need to unnecessarily invest more time in doing those activities which are not directly related to business. Okay, if you are going for cloud, then you only need to focus on your business. All other things will be taken care by SAP. Okay, so we have Mr. Singh who is going to take this in detail today. Okay, the deployment options he is going to talk about in detail. So I will just wait for him to take that particular topic. As of now, let me move forward. Let me see what else I need to discuss. I think this I already discussed, the difference between HANA and S4HANA. Okay, maybe the last slide for me today. Apart from that, whatever is left over, we will discuss tomorrow. So you might have heard about SAP S4HANA versions. So SAP S4HANA 2023 or SAP S4HANA 2022, or even if you are planning to go for the certification, which version you should go. If you are going for the training, which version I should go. So these are the different versions till now which came from SAP S4HANA on-premise. I'm talking about on-premise here. So all started in 2015. This two digits, 15 stands for YY, year. And then this last two digits stands for month. So 1511 means 11th month of 2015, November 2015. October 2016, September 2017, 18, 19, you can see. Up to 1909, the logic was YYMM, right? 1909 means September 2019. But starting from 2020, there is no more YYMM, it is YYYY. So 2020, 2021, 2022, and the latest one from SAP is 2023. Okay, so as of now, these are the different versions available from SAP. The latest one is 2023. Okay, I spoke a lot. I definitely want now time for you to ask any questions, any confirmations before I allow Mr. Singh to take the next topic. So I will just go to the chat screen. Let me see how many questions are on the chat. Once I'm done with chat, I will allow you to unmute yourself. Oh, I cannot see much questions. Srinath is asking, how does the career advancement for SAP? I think by now you heard many things about career, but we will go to the specific question. Okay, so maybe the career things we can hold up to Mr. Singh completes his part. We'll talk about career. As of now, let's focus on the topics that we discussed. Amir is saying, could you please mention the importance of migration project in near future as deadline for ECC support is 2027? Is there any course available or you are going to design any such course only for migration projects? See, first of all, migration is not only the activity from the functional side. Migration involves a lot of things from the technical side and from the functional side. So even if you want to learn migration, you need to understand what has been changed in your own area. For example, if you are coming from finance background or if you are coming from logistics, MM or SD background, the first thing that you need to learn is what is new in that particular module. Okay, I'm not sure whether what is your background. If you are already experienced in ECC, you need to first learn the delta part, how S4HANA is different than ECC when it comes to your own module. And if you are completely new, okay, and you want to learn migration directly, that is definitely not recommended. Migration is a topic which you will be only able to understand if you know how the things were working earlier and how the things are working now. Okay, and for that you have to first understand the overall picture of that particular module. Okay, so depending upon at what career level you are, I would not directly recommend you to go for migration. If you are saying, yes, I am already aware. In my module, I'm already aware about the advancements and all. I just want to learn the migration. So as of now, we don't have any course directly on migration, but yes, we are planning to come up with this course shortly. Okay, so keep in touch. We will definitely inform you if we came across this course. Ritul is asking, I'm semi-qualified, having a total experience of 11 years of, okay, I have been working on SAP FICO since past 2 years and 9 months. Before getting into SAP, I was into consulting, wherein I did internal audits, okay. Till now, I have been 3 implementation projects, 1 company code rollout, 1 plant rollout, support, okay. I want to know about career path which I can expect in my SAP career. It would be great if you could throw some light. Okay, so I'm just, as I told you, Mritul, the career related I'm just holding as of now, but I will definitely come to this question at the end of the session because there are many participants who want to understand first the topics and then we'll talk about the career at the end of the session today. Okay, I will hide it. All are related to career. As of now, I'll move forward. I think same question repeated multiple times. Please don't post the same question again and again. It is disturbing. Yeah, very good question. How education background is important for SAP domain? As I told you, SAP is the business software. Okay. So for example, if you want to become an expert in SAP FI, just for example, or SAP MM or SAP SD, do you think that you will become the expert in SAP FI without having any accounting background? Definitely not. In SAP, you will help the customers implementing the best practices for accounting. But if you are not comfortable with debits and credits, okay, then definitely you will not be you'll not be able to support the customer. Okay, same way if you are working as a MM consultant and you don't know the difference between purchase requisition and purchase order, right? If you are not comfortable with these terminologies, then definitely it is not going to work out. I am not saying that you cannot do. If you feel that okay, I this is my interest, even though I don't have background, this is my interest. So learning is not very difficult. Okay, if you want to learn accounting or you want to learn the purchase or the sales process, it is not very difficult to learn. But definitely, if you have an education background, it will definitely help you. Okay, so you need to spend less time learning only from the SAP point of view. Okay, so education is definitely important, but again, more important than education is interest. If you are interested, then definitely nothing is impossible. You can learn. I can give you n number of examples of engineers who are working as SAP FICO consultants and they are very successful. Even I am not coming from my education background is not at all accounting, but I'm working as a SAP FICO consultant from last many years. Okay, not only SAP FICO consultant, but other advanced modules like group reporting, RAR, IFRS 15, IFRS 16. These things normally you will feel that how non-accounting background student can learn this. It is all about the interest. Okay, so more than education, it is interest. Education is definitely important. Nabil is asking, what according to you is the best domain or module for a person like me? Okay, again related to career. Any question, anyone related to the topic that we discussed? Okay, I'm allowing you to unmute, or what should I do? I think let's proceed with the session. Then I will allow you to unmute because unnecessarily, if other questions are asked, it would be disturbing for all. Right? So better let's complete Mr. Singh's part, and then I will allow you sufficient time if you want to ask about the career or you want to talk about the topics that we discussed. So Mr. Singh, are you there on the call? Just unmute yourself or just say yes on the chat screen so that I can unmute you. Yes, Mr. Singh is there. Let me make you the presenter. You are the presenter and I just allowed you to unmute yourself. Just unmute yourself. We can't hear you. You have to unmute yourself.
I'm audible now?
Yes, yes. Now we can hear you. So I'll just mute myself and you can continue.
Sure. Thank you so much. Hi everyone, good evening. This is Singh here, and thank you, Vikram. Thank you for a wonderful session, and it was indeed really detailed and a lot of knowledge that you imparted over the last 1 hour. Um I've been tasked with providing you details on SAP S/4HANA deployment options. That is what my presentation is about today, and that is what I'll take you forward with. And Vikram, if you can unmute yourself for a minute and just tell me if my screen is visible.
Yes, yes, perfect. We can hear you and screen is also visible.
Great. Okay. Now let me put it to presentation mode. Okay. Right. So I wanted you to think of a few things visually, and that is also the reason why I put out images here, because SAP S/4HANA deployment options tend to become very complicated, and that is where people might lose interest, and you might not understand what is going on. So that is why I have tried to include images to make you understand this. Okay. So the first option which Vikram was talking about was the on-premise deployment of SAP S/4HANA. So on-premise. So let's go by the word first. On-premise means in your premises, in your office, right? In your office where you deploy your server. So what we have shown here is there's a server in the office. Okay, so there's a server in the office. A server is nothing but a big computer with a lot of processing power, right? So it's a better computer than the one you normally use, right? So it's a server in the office which has been put for SAP, and then you see a CD for SAP, and this CD is going to be installed on the server, and that is how you are going to use your SAP, right? This was the old way to use SAP. This was how organizations around the world used to use their SAP, right? Which is have their server in one corner of the office. In those server they would install SAP S/4HANA, and then you can use your S/4HANA, right? So this is on-premise server. The computer, the big computer, the server is sitting on your own premise in your office. Okay, so I've tried to show an office, and this is a server which is sitting in there, and in this we will load SAP S/4HANA. Okay, so this is your on-premise setup. And then I've tried to show how this works, right? So we are all people sitting in various desks, and we are using SAP screens, we are using SAP software, and this is a server setup, right? So you would need a bigger server, obviously, depending on the size of the organization. So this is a server setup where you have installed your SAP S/4HANA. And using this server, you are all accessing SAP S/4HANA on your screens, right? So you need to remember the fact that SAP does not work on your laptop, right? It's not like Word or Excel or PowerPoint does not work on your laptop or your desktop. It works on the server, and there's a small software which shows you everything which is happening there is shown to you on the screen. Okay. So I've told you two things now. One is the on-premise way of doing SAP S/4HANA, right? So server in your premise, server in your office, right? So on-premise way of doing SAP S/4HANA, right? And I've also told you the fact that when you are using SAP, the processing is not happening on your laptop, on your desktop, right? If you have a big Excel sheet, right, and then you try to save it or you try to change something, your computer hangs because your processing is happening on your laptop. But in the case of SAP, even if you run a very big query, your system is not going to hang because the process is happening in the server. It is not happening on your computer. You are just seeing it, right? You can just view it, but the whole work is happening here. And that is how it is a client server architecture. You are the client, this is the server. You send an information, it stores it, you ask for information, it gives you back, right? But mainly this is the on-premise infrastructure. Okay. What are the other ways and you can have your SAP S/4HANA, right? So nowadays, if you want to be a consultant, you need to know something which is called a rise with SAP. So SAP has brought in a new word which is called rise with SAP, where your SAP S4 HANA is not installed in your servers. This all of this goes away, right? You do not install your SAP S4 HANA in these servers, right? You would ask then how would this work? SAP needs to work on a server. If it is not installed here, where would it work? Okay, let's go to that and see this. Okay. Now this is a data center. Okay, now what is a data center? Let me talk about it for a minute. A data center is a place where you have many servers in one building. Okay. So some of you who are from Mumbai would know there's a data center in Navi Mumbai under the railway station, right? That's a very big data center. Those from you who are from Hyderabad would know there's a data center there. Or those of you who are from Noida would know that Akhilesh ji and Yogi ji has finally now come up with a data center in Noida, right? So a data center is a building where you have many servers set up. Okay, could be 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, depending on the size of the data set, right? Now in this, what is happening is in one data center. So now let's break up rise with SAP into two, right? So I told you there's something called a rise with SAP where you don't need your own servers. Okay. Now rise with SAP, the first option is called private cloud. The cloud is private to you. Okay. Now let's break both these words and understand. Now why cloud? Cloud is because of the fact that you are sitting in your office. Yeah. Your data is sitting in a data center in Mumbai or Noida or Hyderabad. You are working from Chennai and your data is traveling across the internet. All the processing is happening in the data center, but you are still getting to see all the processing on your screen. Okay. Now this is cloud. Why cloud? Because you do not know where your data is going. You do not see where your data has gone. You don't see the physical servers. You don't get to touch them. So it is cloud. Now why it is called a private cloud, right? So private cloud means the cloud is private to you. No other company can put in the data in your server, right? So let's look at it here. There's a now these are all racks. These are all servers which are there in a data center. So this is a big data center which has about 20 servers, and each of the servers is for a particular company, right? So this is server is for Capgemini, where you would have your SAP S/4HANA installed. This is for Intel SAP S/4HANA. This is for Procter and Gamble. This is for Marico. This is for Dabur. This is for Maruti, HUL, Coca-Cola, Pepsi. So data residing for various organizations in one physical space, but away from their offices, right? These companies are not existing here. Only their SAP S/4HANA has been installed on these servers. That is something you need to know. Why cloud? Because the companies are not here. The companies are away. 99% of the users would not even know where their data is going. Only the CIO and a few guys would know where their data is actually residing. Right? So that is why the cloud. And why private? Because even in the cloud, the server is private to you. The server is private to you. In your server, data would only be kept for your organization. Capgemini server will not have Intel data. PNG server will not have Marico data. Dabur server will not have HUL data. They will have data for their own organizations only. Okay. So this is the concept of a private cloud in Rise with SAP. Okay. I'll talk to you more about the differences, but right now, first of all, I wanted to show you the architecture and how it works. Okay. Now, within Rise with SAP, SAP has brought in something else as well. So Vikram was talking to you about that as well, which is something which is called a public cloud. Okay. Now this is a private cloud. It's a cloud, but it is private to me. Now this is something which is called a public cloud, which is in one data center, in one server, you have data for many companies residing in one server. So in this one physical server, you have SAP S/4HANA for P&G, you have SAP S/4HANA for Godrej, you have SAP S/4HANA for PepsiCo, you have SAP S/4HANA for Coca-Cola, you also have SAP S/4HANA for Dabur. One server having SAP S/4HANA for many organizations, right? So physically it is one server, and that is why it is a public property. It is public to everyone, right? SAP has made it public to a few organizations. Obviously, it will not be 1,000 organizations because then the server would crash, right? So it is public to a few organizations. What are those organizations? There could be any organization, but in this case, I've tried to show you 5 organizations, right? So Dabur, when a user in Dabur is trying to access SAP S/4HANA, he's going to the same public cloud and getting his data. The Coca-Cola guy is also going to this server and getting his data. Pepsi is also going to this server and getting the data. Same for Godrej and P&G, right? So one physical server which has a SAP S/4HANA installed for many organizations. Okay. However, very important is the fact that Pepsi data would not be visible to Godrej. Godrej data will not be visible to P&G. Each of them can only see their own data, and each of them can only understand their own SAP S/4HANA. They would not even know which other organization data is residing in this public cloud. That's the beauty, right? So you know it is a public cloud. You also know the data for some other organization would be residing in it, but you do not know which other organization is using the same public cloud. Okay. Now, so we have a public cloud, we had a private cloud, and we had a on-premise, right? So we have talked to you about 3 deployment options. Deployment means install, right? In a basic, simple language, it is installed. Or where is my S/4HANA, right? So it's an answer to that question. So on-premise in my office, private cloud, it's in the cloud in some data center, okay, hosted by AWS or by Azure or by Google, right? So private cloud is AWS, Azure, and Google only, right? So if you are on a private cloud, your data would either be in AWS or Google or Azure, right? And in that data center, you would get a particular server which is only for you. No other organization can touch the data or can install SAP S/4HANA for themselves. In the public cloud, you cannot have a public cloud on AWS or Google or Azure. Public cloud will only be in a data center called Cloud 4C. It was called Control S earlier, right? But again, as a company, you only know that SAP has provided me the cloud. You're not bothered about who's at the back end. Okay. Now what I've tried to do is I've tried to give you a few other differences as well, right? As consultants, a few things which you should know. Okay. Now let's see. So public cloud, your config screen. So as a consultant, you're going to learn configuration. You're going to do configuration, right? That is what you will learn from me and from Vikram. So your configuration you only do on Fiori in public cloud. In private cloud, you do it in IMG. You will learn from us what is IMG, but it is basically SAP screens, which we have been seeing for the last 30, 35, 40 years, right? So those same screens, that is where you do your configuration. In public cloud, you do it on Fiori. End user, the person who's actually going to use SAP, is also going to only use Fiori in the public cloud, right? He does not have access to SAP old screens, right? He can use Fiori on the laptop or on the phone as Vikram told, but he cannot use SAP graphical user interface. The old blue and pink screen which you would have seen on images or somewhere or on LinkedIn, that are only allowed in the private cloud and on premise, right? These two options, public cloud and private cloud, as I told you, are part of Rise with SAP. On-premise is not part of Rise with SAP. Okay. Okay. Let's look at one or two more things. This is a big thing. I'll not talk about all the things here, but this was a sample for you to understand the differences. Okay. This is one major difference, which is getting to use the old SAP screens here in public cloud, not getting to use the old SAP screens. Okay. Now remember the fact, Vikram already told you, database is HANA for S for HANA. You cannot use any other database. So this is common for all these three because all of these three are S for HANA, right? Now, as I told you, public cloud will have a shared server. Okay. Private cloud will not have a shared server. On-premise will not have a shared server because it is on your premise. Okay. Server is set up by SAP. Now, Rise with SAP, when you buy or Rise with SAP, SAP as a company sets up your server. Okay. They will make your server. They will buy a server from AWS, install S4 HANA, okay, and give you the server saying your S4 HANA installed. Now you start doing your work. Whereas on premise, the server is in, let's go back to the screen. The server is in your office. You got this CD from SAP. You need to install it yourself. Okay, that's the difference. So you set up the on premise server yourself. Okay, and then you set up SAP on it as well. Okay, another thing which I told you is the servers allowed. Public cloud will only be hosted on a company called Cloud4C. Private cloud, your cloud can be on AWS or Azure or Google. Okay, Google is GCP, Google Cloud Platform. Okay, and your on-premise server can be any make. You can buy a server from IBM or HP or Dell or NEC or any other organization that you like, and then you can use your server for installing SAP S/4HANA. Okay, and Rise with SAP, the beauty of Rise with SAP is something I want to talk to you about here today, is both for private cloud and public cloud. The uptime responsibility, maintaining the fact that your S4 HANA is available throughout the day, right? Now let's look at a few apps that you use. So you use Instagram, you use Facebook, you use LinkedIn. You would have seen one thing, which is if these go down, you do not have to tell Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or Instagram, your site has gone down, please bring it up, right? It is their responsibility to bring up the site, right? You do not need to tell them to bring up the site. So similarly with public cloud and private cloud, the responsibility of bringing up SAP is with SAP, right? So if the server goes down, SAP will bring back the server themselves. Whereas if the server is in your office and a wire is short and there is a blast inside the server and there's smoke in the office, then you need to make sure that everything is all right and you need to replace the components yourself. Okay. Now these are a few differences and the deployment options I wanted to talk to you about today. On premise, in your office, in your premise, you install SAP in your server yourself. Private cloud, in the cloud, which is in a data center, AWS, Google, or Azure. Okay. And you have your own server, which is private to you. You do not share your server physical with anyone else. Your data is secure. Public cloud, your data is still secure because of SAP technologies, but you share your server with a lot of other people. And the advantage for this that you get is you get lower costs when you go onto a public cloud. Okay, SAP allows you less cost. The public cloud is a little cheaper, and you can start by buying less licenses. In private cloud, SAP has to give you a big server. Your licenses, you need to buy a minimum number of licenses for SAP to give you a private server. In public cloud, since it is a shared server, you can start with a few number of licenses, and SAP still would sell those licenses to you, right? So two advantages. One is less number of licenses you can buy. You can still buy S/4HANA public cloud. And secondly, it will be a little cheaper than the private cloud option. The issue is many companies don't like to share their data in the same server with other organizations, and that is why they want to go with the private cloud option or the on-premise option. That's it for me today. Thank you so much, Vikram. Back to you.
Thanks, Mr. Singh. It was a very good session. I think all of the participants got the understanding of the on-premise and on cloud now. And we'll be discussing more in detail tomorrow when we'll start. We are planning, Mr. Singh, we are planning the Rise with SAP, right? Tomorrow.
Yes.
Yeah, so tomorrow we'll start with Rise with SAP. So that was the presentation for today, and now we are open for any questions, any clarifications that you want. And I hope those of you, there were a few guys who approached me who are joining this to see and speak to Mr. Singh, because he is going to be our trainer for SAP SD. So the batch that is starting from 20th of Jan. So I hope you got the idea now, like who is going to be the trainer. Okay, so let's now go back to the questions. Just give me a minute. I will, if you want a break for 5 minutes, I'm fine. If you are tired, so just maybe 2 or 3 minutes of break. Let's connect at 9:30 in next 3 minutes, and that particular session will focus completely on your questions. Thank you. Let's connect in 3 minutes. You can be connected. No need to disconnect. Maybe if you just want a small break for water or tea, just go ahead. Okay, I hope you are back. So let me go through the questions now. Okay, I'll again go from scratch from the first one itself. Those of the things which I was not able to answer earlier, now I will make sure that I'm answering those also. So first I will go through the questions on the chat screen, and then we'll allow you to unmute yourself and go ahead with your questions. Abhishek wants to understand from the basis point of view. See, basis is one of the module, or you can say one of the activity or as a basis consultant, what exactly are the responsibilities is the server maintenance. Okay, so for example, if you want to implement the SAP, you definitely need the person who is the administrator of the server, whatever things are required related to making sure that the server is up and running. Even sometimes even the responsibility of providing the security, providing the user access and all is not can be taken care by the basis. But normally basis and security, these are two different things. But in some of the small organizations, same task is handled by the basis consultants. How does Srinath is asking, how does the career advancement for SAP? So see, throughout this session, and even forget about the session, overall also, if you see, there is a lot of boom in this industry. SAP is a career where initially, definitely, see, I am not someone who is selling SAP, or I don't want to show you big hopes and all. It is just very straightforward answer. SAP is a very good career, but only when you are giving your 100% to it, right? So if you are just doing the course and you feel, or if you are just doing the certification by paying the authorized trainers the fees of around, in India normally, for authorized training they are charging 3 lakh 4 lakh, just by paying that amount, if you feel that, oh, my life is settled, that is not the case. Okay, even if you are learning on your own and you are 100% serious, then also definitely you will land up a good job. Okay, as I told you, 90% of the people fail. It is not only in SAP, it is anywhere, any field you select, you will be only successful when you are giving your 100%. Okay, so you need to learn properly, you need to practice, you need to like you need to have a like a kind of community, you need to post something on the community, then only people will start realizing that okay, you are doing the good job. And most of the time, even if you ask me, for my company how I hire, I normally don't go on whether you are certified or not, or whether uh, you have experience or not. It is more importantly, it is attitude and what you are contributing to the SAP community. Okay, so many times we hire those people who we find that they are doing a very good job in terms of their blogs on the LinkedIn. They are sharing a lot of good content. Okay, so these things only comes if you know 100% that this is where I want to go. Okay, and another important thing which you should be very clear is, normally if you go for the institutes and ask them, okay, what I will get if I take the training from you, okay, they may say you will be earning maybe 5 lakh package minimum or 8 lakh package minimum. I'm talking about again in Indian currency. So please be aware of these commitments, okay, and don't over expect that if you are SAP certified, even if you give 100%, there are no chances. Like, it is not like the first project itself or the first job itself will give you that much amount. See, I'm not saying it is not possible. I have seen many consultants getting these salaries in their first job itself, but it is not the case always. Okay, so when you go for the interviews, maybe you ask first question to them, okay, how much I will get? They will say, you will get 3 lakh. You will say, no, 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 I'm looking for 5 lakh. That is definitely not the case. The first 2 years are very crucial, right? So whatever opportunity comes to you, even if you need to start just as an internship, okay, without getting paid anything, that is where you need to start from, right? So be ready for that. Don't see high hopes that, oh, SAP is like, if I register I will get this, I will get that. That is not the case at all, right? If you do it well, definitely there are high chances. And if you get 1 or 2 years of experience, even if it is an internship, if you are able to answer, if you are able to crack the interview for 2 years, then you don't need to look behind. Okay, there is always a growth. Believe me, starting from COVID, like after COVID, if you see, the salaries of SAP consultants have been doubled, right? So keep that thing in mind. It is a big process. It is not, there is no shortcut into it, right? So that is something, it is for all. I know these questions will come, so I hope you got the answer to that. So career wise, SAP is a very good career, but only thing is it needs your commitment. And be aware of the false commitments. Sorry, just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry. So beware of the false commitments which are being done in the market. Okay, if you are lucky enough, you will definitely get it, but be ready to start with the low salaries also. Okay, I'm going to the next one. Migration project I already talked about. Yeah. So Mrital is saying she is having a good experience. She is already having SAP FICO consultant experience of around 3 years. So what should she do to make the advancement in her career? See, you are already in a very good path. 3 years of experience in SAP is too good. Only thing is, I'm not sure how much you have actually learned during these 3 years. If you have already learned most of the things within SAP FI area or SAP CO area, definitely with that you can, if you are looking for further opportunities, you can apply for the jobs, and there are a lot of opportunities available for 2 to 3 years of consulting experience, right? Or if you want to improvise on your uh, like the skill set that you got, so definitely if you are only SAP FI expert now, you can go for CO, or you can think about FSCM, RAR, group reporting, SAC. There are n number of areas. There is no shortage of learning. There are n number of modules within finance you talk about or logistics you talk about. There is always a career growth because SAP will keep on coming with something new. Okay, so even today, no one is having full knowledge. Even I can't say that I have learned everything in within financial area also. There are a lot of things which I am also learning on day-to-day basis. And as soon as you learn, definitely you get a opportunity to utilize that knowledge in the projects. And definitely if you learn those niche skills, you will be getting a very good package in the industry. Right, so those are some of the things from my side. Mritul, if you have any further questions, I will allow you to unmute. Mohan is asking, what is my module after completing engineering? So, Mohan, normally, see again, I already told you earlier also, there are two things when you think from the SAP career point of view. There are two important things. Number one is your education background, and number two is your interest. So, if you are fine with your education, which means if you are also interested to pursue the career which is related to engineering itself, then see there are n number of modules in SAP which are related to logistics. Okay, you can go for SAP MM, you can go for SAP SD, you can go for SAP PP, but there are other modules which are totally dependent on this. Okay, so for example, if you want to go for the advanced modules, these are the three modules that I told you, which are the starting points, right? So you can think about MMSD. I think those are the core modules which are very good to start your career, right? Definitely not FICO because it is related to accounting. But again, if you are interested in accounting and you are eager to learn accounting, you can think about FICO also. But again, as I told you, that is something 1 out of 10 people will take that kind of risk if they have a very high interest. Okay, but if you want to pursue with the same educational background, I think MM or SD would be best suited for you. Yeah, now I'm coming to what is this, Vishpa? The same question which he or she has repeated multiple times. I'll just try to answer it. So you have selected Genpact for accounts payable profile, but there is overlapping in my service. So they rejected me. So if I make career in SAP, I have to face same problem. What do you mean by overlapping? There is overlapping in my service. So Vishpa, I'll just allow you to unmute yourself and clarify what exactly is your doubt. Vishpandra, right? I have allowed you to unmute. Please unmute and go ahead with your full question.
Hi, good evening, sir.
Yes, good evening.
Actually, I have joined JCB India Limited in October. After
Mm-hmm.
that, similarly, I got offered from Infosys, and in JCB, I am working as an off role. So there is Infosys provide me on role job. So, but they are paying less. So I went there for only 1 day, but they onboard me and opening my PF account. I am not aware of that.
Mm-hmm.
So I continuously join JCB and continuously work on it. But after in end of November, I give interview in Genpact and selected as a process developer. in accounts payable
Mm-hmm.
profile. But when they are checking, they are doing BGC background and ask me for my UN verification. They got two PF account in a single time. That
Mm-hmm.
that means they are overlapping. So
Right.
though so they revoke my offer letter because of service overlapping. So that's why I'm asking if I make career in SAP and join some company, so I will face the same problem in future or not.
Yeah, yeah, see, it is not related to SAP or any other technology. It is related to the companies. Definitely, you cannot be having two PF accounts with two different companies, right? So that is something which you definitely need to avoid. So now, if you are asking about the future, whether that PF account which you opened with Infosys, whether that will create a problem, for that you need to contact them and you need to clear with them that you want to close that account before you apply to any other opportunity. Otherwise, if the
Yeah,
same thing happens, then it would be very difficult for you to uh, take care of that. So I think that is a, but again, it is not related to SAP or non-SAP. It is the company to company policy. Definitely nobody wants their employee to work for two companies. And
yeah.
I don't think there is any other thing which I can say.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, no problem, Shpendra. Okay, and just 1 minute. Yeah, so we are done with Vishpendra. Now let's go to Srirag is asking what would be the difference between taking a SAP S/4HANA course from any other institute versus directly from SAP website in terms of content of course and fee. See, I think the content wise both are going to be same. Okay, and content wise again it depends which course you are selecting. So I'll just give you one example. So if you are going for SAP FI course, within FI there are 3 4 courses which are on SAP website, right? So it will not be done within one course. You have to take that 3 4 courses, then only you will be able to cover all the topics related to the SAP FI certification exam, right? And if you are taking the training from outside, that totally depends upon what is the course content they are providing. Okay, so you need to see the course content. So in short, it totally depends or it changes institute to institute. If you ask us how we cover, so we provide the training where we cover all the important topics from the certification point of view, and then we provide some additional videos for those topics which are related to your first job. Okay, so for example, your first priority would be to pass the certification exam. So those topics which are related to the certification exam, those we cover in detail, and then we provide you additional videos for those topics which are important when you start working on the projects, right? So in order to know whether what is there on the SAP website and what is there on the other institute, you have to compare the course content of different institutes. Okay, and obviously the cost. If you compare the cost, it would be more than 6 7 times more than the normal institutes. Okay, I will go to Tuna. Tuna is asking how educational. Okay, okay, we already discussed this. Safi is asking due to working, I might. Okay, this is not the question. Shazia is asking how to transition from SAP CRM to SAP S/4HANA. I have major experience in SAP CRM and some experience in SAP logistics. See, Shazia, I think since you are already in SAP, you might be knowing module is not that important, or maybe there I have seen many people changing their modules within the same organization also. See, definitely, if you are working on SAP CRM today, immediately if you try to find the other job in some other module, it would be very difficult. Okay, but within the same company, if you try to just learn something new, for example, CRM is very tightly integrated with SAP SD. So if you learn SAP SD, try to take 1 or 2 projects on SAP SD, and then you prepare your CV like I have worked on SAP SD for this many number of years. Then I think that would be very, very smooth transition from CRM to some other module. Okay, but if you are planning that, okay, I am SAP CRM and immediately I want to change the job, but I want the job in SAP SD, that would be little bit difficult because the other company will judge you based on SAP SD skill set, not on CRM skill set. Okay, so it is possible. I have seen a lot of people doing the transition from one module to another module, and it is not transition actually. It is adding the new skill. CRM is also a good module. Maybe it is now converting to cloud, hybrids, and all, but those things are also relevant. So it is the additional thing that you are learning. It is not like you want to completely go from one module to another module. Okay, Nabil is asking, I am studying computer engineering. What, according to you, is the best domain or module for a person like me? So when you say computer engineering, as I told you, it would be difficult for you to come to accounts. See why I am talking about these three modules, MM, SD, FI. There are n number of modules in SAP. But as I told you, these are the three core modules for the beginners. You want to go to any time, any direction in SAP, these are the core modules which will help you in having the strong foundation level knowledge, right? So simple. If you are coming from accounting background, if you have the interest in accounting and your educational background is accounting, definitely my recommendation would be go to finance. For those of you who are coming from engineering background, or if you are coming from the background which is like if you are having some domain experience into purchasing or sales, then definitely you can think about MM and SD. Okay, so these are the three core modules I recommend the beginners to start their career with. Okay, although there are n number of other modules which you can also think about, but these are the my recommendations because of two things. Number one, uh, you can understand from basics. It would not be so difficult for you to understand. And number two, opportunity wise, these are the modules where there are always the opportunities. Okay. Mohan is asking why SAP is best compared to other softwares. Mohan, I think you need to go through these recordings once again. We already discussed a lot of benefits compared to the other softwares. Rutvik is asking, I have completed BTech in Electronics and Communication Engineering and I have high interest in SAP SD. So please provide me the good suggestion like about roadmap of SAP SD, whether I continue with SAP SD or another module as ECE graduate. So again, as I told you, I think you might have got the answer by now, but again, I'm repeating. If you are coming from engineering background, MM and SD, you need to select from. And since you already made your mind, because you are already saying you have a lot of interest in SAP SD, that is a very good decision because SAP SD is a very good module. There is always a lot of opportunities available in the market, and it is not very difficult to learn also as a beginner. Dinesh is asking, I am a manager in SAP consulting companies for the past 10 years. Can you please suggest me the possible SAP career? If you are already working as a SAP manager, then okay, let me complete your question. Should I want to become a SAP consultant or SAP project manager? What is your advice? So see, there is no right or wrong here. Since you are coming from the manager profile, okay, to enter into the consulting role will be, again, it is the interest first of all, but why not, if you are already a manager, think about becoming the project manager in SAP itself. So it is again the interest. There is nothing wrong, nothing right. Only thing is your manager experience can help you becoming project manager. But if you want to become a consultant, you have to start your learning curve once again. You have to take one skill set, you have to learn one skill set, and then you need to start your consulting career. See, one thing that you should remember, again, according to my experience, in SAP, it is not like project managers or managers will get more salary. It is more totally depends upon the skill set. Okay, many times you will find SAP consultants are earning more than the project managers in the same project. The reason is the skill set. How difficult is to get some skill employees in the market? Okay, for example, if you are working on the niche skill, okay, niche skill means if you are a CEO consultant or a RAR consultant or a FSCM consultant. These are very niche skills. It is very difficult to find good resources in the market. Okay, so definitely if you start with SAP, FI or MM or SD, and slowly within next 5-6 years, if you take those advanced modules and get some expertise in that, it would be like people will, whenever their company is looking for these resources, there is a lot of shortage of those resources, and company will pay you more than the project managers and the leadership roles in that company. I have seen many such examples. So it is not about manager or consultant, it is all about your interest. Mohan is asking what is RISE with SAP. So Mohan, anyways, we are going to discuss this RISE with SAP topic in detail, but today Mr. Singh has explained one part of RISE, that is what are the different deployment options provided by SAP for SAP S/4HANA. Right. So for complete understanding of RISE with SAP, uh, I advise you to attend tomorrow's session where you will get a complete clarity on RISE with SAP. VKG is asking on-premises means physical server only. Yes, physical server which is on your own premises. Mandar is asking, please explain what is Fiori. Fiori is a user interface. Again, this is one of the topic that we are going to discuss in detail, but the example that I gave you, that previously we were doing the transactions in front of computers and laptops, but if I want to do the transactions from my mobile device, and that too with the simplified user experience where I don't need much training also. So that is a new user interface which is provided by SAP called as Fiori. Fiori is a new user interface. In single line, it is a new and modern user experience provided by SAP, which can work on mobile devices as well as tablets. Srirag is asking what would be the difference between taking a S4HANA course from, I think we already discussed this. Tuna is asking, sir, give a brief intro about upcoming course S/4HANA Finance. So yeah, just for this is not for only you, for all others. We are starting the new batches on SAP Finance, SAP SD, and we are also planning on SAP MM. Although SAP MM date is not finalized, so SAP FI and SAP SD we are starting from 20th of Jan. It is a weekend batch, and as I told you, so finance part I'll be taking over, and Mr. Singh will be taking care of SAP SD. And from the content point of view also, I just spoke about what we normally do. We make sure that all the topics which are related to the certification preparation are covered, because that is the first priority for our students to pass the certification exam. And then we provide some additional videos which are related to some advanced topics which are good to have before you go for your first interview. Right. So I will, instead of talking about what are the topics I will cover, that is also something which we can discuss when we go to the financials and logistics sessions on day 3 and day 4 of this course. But as of now, just remember whatever is required to pass the certification exam plus whatever is required to do on your first job, those are some of the topics we cover in detail during the sessions. For more details, you can obviously go through our website. We have mentioned very clearly what are the topics which we cover, so that there the confusion should be avoided and you should get a clear picture. Okay, VKG is asking, in private cloud platform, can we go with S4HANA without RISE? It might be ECC to S4HANA conversion or new installation. So see, now currently if you talk about, when we talk about private cloud and public cloud, I think everything is on RISE. So I don't think, maybe Mr. Singh, if you are there, you can comment on this, but I don't think there is an option for customers to skip the RISE part, at least on private and public cloud. Okay, next one is,
Do you want me to reply to that, Vikram?
yes, please.
Okay. So, public cloud and private cloud of RISE with SAP are different than the other public cloud and private cloud concept. So you'll have to remember public cloud as a general concept has existed for maybe 5-7 years. But what we are talking about today is public cloud from SAP as Rise with SAP, private cloud from SAP as Rise with SAP, right? So public cloud and private cloud, if you want as Rise with SAP, if you want as S4 HANA, you can only buy from SAP, right? If you otherwise want to buy a public cloud, you can buy from AWS, you can buy a private cloud or a public cloud from AWS, right? But that will not come with S4 HANA or Rise with SAP. That is just a server on the cloud, okay? But what we are talking today is S4 HANA on a public or private cloud, which can only come from SAP as Rise with SAP. Okay.
Right.
So we are talking about public cloud, private cloud, Rise with SAP part only. And that is why it will come only from SAP. Thanks.
Perfect. Yeah. Thank you. Shweta is asking, I am from manufacturing background. I know overall process and we implemented S/4HANA. How would you suggest on selecting modules? So Shweta, since you are already coming from some experience, you already knew some screens of SAP, you might be knowing that in the manufacturing company, definitely you might have implemented PP module, MM module, SD module. These are some of the modules which are related to the manufacturing domain. Now, as I told you, you can, if you want, you can directly go for PP also. But normally, I normally don't recommend to directly go for PP because there is a lot of dependency on the MM. Okay, so if you want to get started, I would highly recommend that you start with MM and then slowly, if you're interested in MM, you continue, or later on you go for PP. Okay, again, it is about interest. Maybe it is not necessary if you are working in the manufacturing, you only worked on PP and MM. Even as I told you, from non-accounting background, you can think about SAP SD also. Shweta is asking, can I learn all the modules? Definitely not recommended at one go. Slowly, one by one, taking the gap of 2 to 3 years is fine. Okay, so start with one module. One module is more than enough to start your journey. But again, repeating, if you do give 100%. Okay, just by going through the overview, if you feel that, oh, now I'm a consultant, that is not the case. Srinath is asking, what is the difference between ABAP team and basis team? So Srinath, as I told you, basis is mainly to take care of the servers, to do the administrative task for the server, providing the authorizations and all. And ABAP takes care of customized developments. Okay, so what do you mean by customizations now? So when SAP gives you the software, that software comes with the standard functionality. But sometimes the customer may not be happy with the functionality which is provided by SAP. They want to customize the process as per their own way of doing it. Okay, so I'll just give the example. Let's say you bought a new flat, okay, and the builder has given you the standard flat with all the rooms and all those things, but now you want to customize it as per your own requirement. So you just want to do some changes to that particular one. So that is called as customization. You are changing the layout, you are changing the some of the things which are not provided in the standard system. So for doing that, you need the ABAP consultants who can write the code and change the system to serve the business requirements. Okay, so that is ABAP. So ABAP is all about, maybe you can say, coding, but when it comes to basis, that is more of administration, database administration and all. Mandar is asking, I have a master degree in supply chain and logistics management. Shall I go for MM module first, or can I learn EWM module directly also without doing MM? So I think you might have got the answer by now. So EWM is a good module, but my recommendation would be to start with MM. Okay, because there is a dependency. Or maybe if someone is providing you EWM module with basics covered about MM, that is also fine. Okay, but if someone is directly starting with EWM, you may find it difficult because it has a lot of dependency on MM. Ananta is asking, I worked earlier on Azure M365 as an architect. Recently, I moved to SAP BTP CPI and roll out my project. Interested to learn SAP SD from functional perspective, how long it would take for me to be a SME in SD. See, SME you will only become SME once you work on 2-3 projects on your own, or at least one project on your own. But whatever knowledge is required to become a SD consultant, at least from working from the first project point of view, understanding the terminologies, understanding the business processes, that you can definitely start with the training. Okay, so from the training point of view up to getting certified, it may take you around 3 to 4 months of time. Okay, so start with the training and then get certified and then look for the first project on SAP SD and gain some practical experience, which will help you to become a SME. Okay, Srinath is asking from the career advancement point of view, he want to understand from like how the career progresses. Okay, so you are right. It starts with the junior consultant or associate consultant. Okay, so even sometimes you need to start with the intern. So you'll start with SAP intern, then you can become a associate or junior consultant, then you'll become a consultant, then senior consultant, and then depending upon in which direction you want to go, whether you want to go in the managerial positions or you want to continue as a SME, you can go for lead consultant, you can go as a solution architect if you want to go as from the technology point of view, and if you want to go from the managerial point of view after senior consultant, you can become a manager, senior manager. Like this the career goes. Srinath is asking, is there any place where we can check for jobs for SAP beginners? I think nowadays everything is on LinkedIn. Okay, apart from LinkedIn, there are a lot of other. See, as a fresher, definitely you don't want to restrict to one website. Whatever websites are available, you definitely go for it. But I think LinkedIn is a best platform to find the opportunities, because most of the companies nowadays are very active on LinkedIn. And as I told you, instead of waiting for the jobs, try to create your own content. Be like, people should know you that you are posting something, and that will, like, if you create that network, then it would be very easy for you to get the idea where exactly are the opportunities and you can apply. Deepak is asking, do you have group reporting training? Yes, definitely. We are planning to start the group reporting training. Okay, another expert from our team, Mr. Rohit, he is going to be the trainer for group reporting. Only thing is we are just working on the dates. So maybe in another 1 week of time, you will find that group reporting course also published on our website. Yeah, sorry, Mrutal. Freeman is asking, my question is, how different is the configuration for SAP deployed on premise versus private cloud? I constantly hear for pre-configured system being delivered directly by SAP. So there is definitely the difference in how the private cloud and public cloud can be implemented. But what is going to happen is, irrespective whether you are implementing the private cloud or public cloud, what are the basics, what are the foundations, they will remain same. Okay, so I'm not saying that both are completely same. There are few differences. Only thing is how you do the configurations. Whether you are going to do the configurations, as Mr. Singh said, that there are two ways of doing the configuration. One is using Fiori and second is using IMG. So when you are doing the configurations in on-premise system, you will be using IMGs, and when you are doing the configurations through cloud, it would be via Fiori. Okay, there are few differences, but the basic concepts will remain same, right? Whatever you will learn, those you can apply on both the projects, irrespective of whether it is private or cloud, or on-premise or cloud. Aniket is asking, sir, I want to enroll myself. What is the fee? So Aniket, you can just go through our website for the fees and the other details. Aniket is saying also I am pursuing MBA in finance. So what would be the schedule for the lectures? See, lectures, the batch that we are planning now, it is only on weekends. So I don't think that will disturb your. See, we are also working. As I told you, we also have our company and we are also working on a lot of projects. So even we are not taking these trainings on weekdays. It is only going to be on weekends. Ajay is asking, uh, okay, it is just the feedback. Thank you for providing this feedback. It motivates us a lot. Yeah. So Ajay is asking, can we also get some time one-to-one? So what I'll do is maybe after the end of this course, after the 4 days course, maybe the fifth day, I will allow you to book the slots if someone wants to speak one-to-one with me or Mr. Singh. Okay, that we will discuss depending upon our availability. VKG is asking any course planning for S4HANA basis perspective like conversions and all. As of now, we don't have any plan, but yes, just keep connected to us. If we plan anything, you will come to know. Otherwise, there are some other companies also who are providing basis. If you are really interested, you can look for them. Shrikant is asking, do we need any Excel skills? If so, what sort of Excel skills do we as a SAP FICO consultant see? Excel is a basic thing. Okay, it is required nowadays for each and everything. But apart from that, from the SAP perspective, specific to SAP, there is no separate Excel skill required. It is definitely a very good skill to have. How a fresher can, Tuna is asking how a fresher can get a job after completing this course. See, as a fresher, we can't just sit at home thinking that we will never get a job. You have to make yourself confident and make yourself capable that you are required in the market. Okay, and that is only possible when you give your 100%. Okay, so as I told you, opportunities are available. Those who are saying there are no opportunities for fresher, definitely it is the wrong statement. But again, as I told you, opportunities are available only for 10% who are really giving their 100%, right? So you need to decide where you want to be. Subhash is asking, I am basis consultant with 3 years of experience. Could you please tell me how should I start with learning new modules in SAP? Say suppose FICO, SDMM. Like what is the basic requirement to start with this? As I told you, there are two things which you need to start, which you need to have before you start these core modules. One is the education background or second is interest. One of this is more than enough. And since these are the core modules, very basic modules to start, there is no other prerequisite. Okay, last question from Mohan. What is the future of SAP consulting with AI? With AI, there is a lot of automation going to happen, obviously. So those of the things which companies are doing manually today, they are processing the transactions manually today. Those are the things which will be replaced by AI. Okay, but again, it is not going to kill the jobs. It is just going to make the life easy for all. Okay, now I'm done with all the questions on the chat screen. If you have any further questions, you can just raise your hand. Otherwise, if I allow you to unmute, there will be a lot of disturbance. Let me try that. Okay, I'm just allowing from my side to unmute you. Anyone who is left with any question, just unmute yourself and go ahead. Please go ahead. I have unmuted you from my side.
Hey Gaurav, good evening. This is Ajay speaking. Can you hear me?
Yes, Ajay, I can hear you.
Yeah, thanks for answering the query on the chat. But yeah, you said that you'll post some link during last day to book your time for an one-on-one session. So as I
Mhm.
got time today, there, actually this time I'll have my company calls, but today fortunately I do not have any. So I am able
Mhm.
to join this call. And firstly, I wanted to thank you for posting some content on online as well, like YouTube and everywhere, which helped me a lot during my starting career sessions. So I just wanted to know if we can get that link to to personally talk with you via mail or somewhere else.
Yeah. So what we do, Ajay, maybe you just ping me on WhatsApp, saying that
Hmm.
you are looking for this link, and we will definitely send you the link directly. Okay. Anyways, we will be sharing this link with all, but at least you requested, so first preference will be given to you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gaurav. And WhatsApp, in the sense, I think you had a group, right? Is that the group you are speaking?
Which group?
I think in
No, no
WhatsApp,
problem.
which number
Yeah,
I
no
need to
problem.
get contacted?
I'll just ping the WhatsApp number for to all of you. Whoever has any further questions, you want to discuss something with my team or with me, you can just post on this. It's there on the chat screen now.
Okay, thank you. That's great. I'll copy it. Thank you so much, Gaurav.
Thank you. Anyone? Any other doubts? Ananta, I can see you have unmuted, but I can't hear you. Okay, so it seems all the doubts are resolved. If you have further doubts, anyways, we are meeting tomorrow. So please make sure that even this recording we will upload by tomorrow afternoon on our platform, and you will get a mail how to access this recording. So if you just want to go through it once again, or if you have any doubts, definitely you can connect tomorrow and we can continue our discussion from here. Okay, then thank you all. It was very nice to see this much participation, and it definitely motivates us to conduct these trainings in future. Thank you. Bye.
Hello.
Yes.
Sorry, Vikram, but I have one question. For the junior level position, nowadays
Hmm.
most of the companies they are doing S/4HANA implementation, and for the junior level position, we don't have experience in ECC even in S/4HANA. So, is there a
Hmm.
good opportunities for junior level right now?
No, see, definitely nobody is expecting you to take a responsibility of implementing a complete project. Definitely there will be senior consultants, project managers who will be working on the projects to deliver these big projects. But at the end of the day, not all small activities they will be doing on their own. They need the junior consultants to help them in documentation. They need the junior consultants to help them on day-to-day small activities, coordination and all. So that is where you need to start, right? It is not like the opportunities are not there for the junior consultants. Everybody needs someone to support them on day-to-day basis. So definitely the junior consultants are always required.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay then, thank you all. See you tomorrow. Bye.